Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Brands. I'm Marc from Alpha Controls. Today, we're going to talk about the reemergence of hydrogen as a clean energy source. And to help guide us through this topic is Yaasiin from our sales team.
Thank you, Marc. I've been with Alpha for about 9 years now, and I've had the pleasure of working on a few hydrogen projects in that time. Today, we'll sit down with an industry friend, Payam from Caymus, and dive a bit deeper on the topic of hydrogen.
Let's get started.
Thank you for joining us today, Payam, and making the time out of your busy schedule to be here. We've been talking about this, or we've been hearing about this for a while, hydrogen. Where is this new source of energy really coming from? And why are we hearing about it all of a sudden?
Yeah, thanks for having me. So hydrogen is not a new source, despite what people may think. It's been discovered as a fuel for centuries. It's one of the most abundant elements on Earth. It's one of the molecules that makes up water. So it's been discovered, it's been used as a fuel. It's just not as easy as some of the other fuels, such as natural gas or propane. And that's the only reason why it hadn't been adopted as much as other fuels. However, despite some of those technical challenges, it has one big advantage over, say, natural gas, and that's that it produces far less emissions that contribute to global warming. And for that reason, in recent years, it's been re-emerging, if you will.
Okay, so people have been using it before. I guess it's just now to this new clean energy or net zero that we hear a lot of, people are trying their best to now utilize it a bit more instead of some of these other carbon emission fuels and technology.
Exactly. So with natural gas, you always get carbon emissions when it's used in combustion to produce heat. With hydrogen, there's zero carbon emissions. There are some other emissions that combusting hydrogen does produce, but even if you were to take into account all the emissions, it would still be far less than what you would get with natural gas and propane.
And I know you mentioned it's easier to work with natural gas. So I guess what difficulties come with, or challenges rather, come with working with hydrogen?
That's a great question. So hydrogen has a much lower weight compared to natural gas, molecular weight. That leads to its ability to escape or leak your system, if you will, easier than natural gas.
So similar to, I know a lot of people know this, like a helium balloon. Over time, you see it shrink and it starts to fall. It's not that the helium's escaping through that hole. The helium actually just, eventually the small molecules just make their way through the actual balloon.
Exactly. Hydrogen, with enough pressure, can actually seep through the body of a pipe from certain materials. So it makes it very tricky to make sure that your system doesn't leak. One of the other challenges with hydrogen, when you compare it to other fuels, is that it has a lower heat content, if you will, amount of energy per unit volume. And that makes it a little bit more difficult to work with, if you will, or more expensive to work with. However, again, because of its advantage of being a lot cleaner than natural gas, it's re-emerging.
Okay, so you would need to use a lot more hydrogen to create the same amount of heat or energy than you would natural gas.
Exactly. Bigger systems, bigger pipes that also ensure the safety of hydrogen in terms of leaks.
I actually heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, right here in Markham, I believe Enbridge is actually already doing some sort of blending with hydrogen and natural gas to heat. It's like 4,000 to 5,000 homes?
Yeah, exactly. So Enbridge is running a pilot program. You're absolutely right. In Markham, that covers around 3,000 to 5,000 homes. They're blending 5% hydrogen, which means instead of pushing 100% natural gas into these homes, they're replacing 5% of that natural gas with hydrogen to then reduce the overall emissions.
So 95% natural gas, 5% hydrogen.
Exactly. And that's to test their existing infrastructure, as we talked about, in terms of leaks, volume, to see that, okay, how much can they push this percentage before they need to upgrade their system. They're trying out all these different points of concern with hydrogen and their existing infrastructure. And Enbridge, by the way, is also running a very similar program in Quebec with 40,000 homes. Oh, wow. So it's a much bigger pilot program in Quebec. But to give you an overall picture of where we are with hydrogen in Canada, since 20 2020, we've had 13 low carbon production facilities. Again, since 2020, there's also been 80 new projects in total that, to give you a perspective, in total, they sum up to about $100 billion in investment.
$100 billion? Holy shit. And this is just Canada?
Just Canada, yeah. And 23 of these 80 projects are export projects, which means that in Canada, we want to produce hydrogen and export to the other places in the world. So 100 billion is in Canada, but it also gives you an idea of how the world is also, yeah. In some of the other provinces as well, we already have cars, buses, trucks that run on hydrogen. We have hydrogen refueling stations. So they literally have hydrogen refueling stations, just like how you go to, gas station, exactly.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about this topic, click on the link below where we have an extended version of this video. Thanks, Yaasiin.
No problem, Mark. Think I could maybe become a regular on Brands?
I will talk about that off camera. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming episodes. As your precision partner, we're always here to help. So if there's more topics you'd like to learn more about, please contact us below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode of Brands.